Shade Protocol just launched their money market, ShadeX. And I went over there, and my plan was to look at the platform with fresh eyes as if I was a new user so that I could look for opportunities to make a video like this one. Well, before I even got to play around with the borrowing, the lending, and look at some of the APRs, I noticed number one, there are a lot of different types of tokens, and a lot of them are derivative tokens. So I was confused because I see all these prefixes and suffixes and different designations. So I said, why don't I do a video on the various types of tokens? Because it might not be so evident if you're a new user and you might get intimidated and end up heading the other direction. So that's what this video is going to be about. Shade Protocol, various derivative tokens. Let's do an overview. Everybody, Joe here for Dead Cat Crypto, doing a little video on Shade Protocol, privacy preserving DeFi, a suite of applications based on the secret network, which is smack in the middle of Cosmos. So lots of interconnected chains, lots of tokens. It's probably a long time coming for me or someone else to do a video like this where we look at all the different types of tokens, find out what they all are, what they all do. But yeah, they're a channel sponsor. If you're in my Telegram, which I'll link down below, you'll know that Shade is part of my portfolio. Let's start with the basics, and then we'll get more and more complicated, and we'll end up with the new money market, the borrowing, the lending that just launched on March 6th here on Shade. So let's start with the basics. Let's start with the L1 token. I mentioned that this is on the secret network. It's part of Cosmos, and their token is the SCRT token. It's the L1. It's used not only for staking, but also for gas, voting in governance, and of course, it's used for rewarding stakers. It's issued via inflation, just like most other L1 proof of stake tokens. Then there's Shade. That's the application token. It's a DAO. It operates as a DAO, a DeFi DAO, if you want to call it that. And the Shade token, SHD, that one's used for not only voting in the DAO, but also liquidity throughout the platform and staking rewards. Yes, you can stake it, even though it's not an L1 token. We'll get into that in a minute. And then finally, we've got Silk. This is Shade's stable coin. It's pegged to a basket of currencies, and it's somewhat inflation resistant. You could see it outperformed stable coins that were pegged to the US dollar and other fiats, which is great. But you'll see that token throughout this video as well. Just wanted to make sure we had the three main ones. That's Secret, SCRT, Shade, SHD, and Silk, the stable coin. But we're in Cosmos, and there's hundreds and hundreds of other tokens. So the other thing you'll see on this platform are the other Cosmos L1 assets, especially if you go to the DEX. So these are all issued by the various L1s. They're IBC'd onto Secret Network. IBC is an internal bridge used in the Cosmos ecosystem, and tokens can be passed from chain to chain and used in the various applications, just like Shade. Now, the difference here is when you bridge or IBC a token, let's say Atom or Osmo or Tia, over to the secret network, it gains this privacy feature that's enabled by the secret network. Think of it as like kind of wrapped in privacy while it's over here. So you'll see this little bubble icon on the top left of these tokens. That's a secret network logo. That means that there is a privacy feature added because it's on this particular chain. I consider it to be the private versions of these tokens. Now let's get to LSTs. Since we're in a proof of stake ecosystem, you're basically expected to stake some of your tokens, earn some rewards, and Cosmos has a couple different liquid staking protocols. One of them, probably the most well-known in Cosmos, is Stride. Stride is its own blockchain, but they are the liquid staking protocol for about 15 to 17 other L1 assets. You can go over to Shade's application and you can mint yourself a liquid staking derivative. The protocol basically stakes the tokens on your behalf and then gives you kind of a placeholder token. That's the liquid staking derivative. And you'll see these on Shade protocol with the lowercase st prefix. That's the Stride designation for Stride's liquid staking tokens. They're not only on Shade Protocol, you'll see them on Osmo and various other chains, but these are, like I said, not issued by Shade. They're issued by Stride, which is a separate protocol on its own chain. The reason why you see them over here is because, of course, Cosmos is the ecosystem of interoperability, and you could pass tokens all throughout the ecosystem quite nicely. Shade has a pretty cool bridge, by the way, which you can use to facilitate that. Speaking of prefixes, you'll also see Shade Protocol's staking derivatives. And the first one we'll look at is STKD. That is the prefix for Shade, not Stride, Shade's liquid staked secret. So if you could stake the secret tokens yourself and earn the reward, or you could liquid stake them within the Stride protocol and then take that liquid staking derivative and use it to maybe earn a little additional yield, depending on what you want to do with it on the platform, supply liquidity, or as we'll see, you could actually lend it. There are two other liquid staking tokens issued by Shade. One is Shade itself. So you could stake Shade. It allows you to vote in the DAO, and they give you back a liquid staking derivative called D-Shade. Silk, same thing. You could stake Silk and you'll get back D-Silk. These earn a little bit of a yield, and then you could use them throughout the platform, just like I said, with the liquid staked secret. We talked about prefixes. Let's go to suffixes. And the one I want to point out is AXL, Axelar. Axelar is a massive bridging protocol. They are their own blockchain as well to confuse things, but Axelar, from a Cosmos perspective, is generally the main provider of assets from outside the ecosystem. This includes ETH and Wrap Bitcoin. They get bridged in via Axelar, and you'll see that designation as you browse the list. But yeah, these are from outside the ecosystem. That you'll see them in liquidity pools, and yes, you can borrow against them, lend them out. So that's Axelar. You'll also see Noble. That's a stablecoin USDC issued by Noble, which is another blockchain in Cosmos. Hopefully you're still following, because we're going to get to the fun part right now. Now the money market. The money market is Shade X. So you'll see this X prefix in front of the token ticker and also some of the other prefixes. This is the token that you get when you lend out your original asset. For example, let's use a real example. We can start with Atom. If I supply my Atom, I get an 8% yield. I could also supply ST Atom and get a 1.49% yield. That doesn't seem right. Why is it so different? Well, it's because this is the Stride liquid stake derivative of Atom. You're already getting some return from the protocol. This is just on top of the return you're getting from Stride. But if I want to lend out my Atom, I put in however many I've got. This is a viewing key that I have to enable so that I could see my balance. This is part of the privacy feature on Secret Network. And that's an actual wallet transaction. But you can see this, supplying this into the lending protocol, the money market, I'm going to get about 8%. What would happen is when I lend, I'm going to get back a derivative of Atom called X Atom. Here's the token right here. It's X Atom. That's the derivative for the Atom that I just lent out on the money market protocol. Not to be confused with this Atom, which is Stride, right? ST, liquid staked Atom. But this is the liquid staked Atom derivative that was just lent into the protocol. Similar situation here. I've got X staked Secret. This is the liquid staking derivative of Secret, but it was lent. This is the derivative of the derivative, a derivative of a derivative now. You're watching the video for too long when you hear that. But yeah, don't confuse these, I guess is the point, with the quote unquote regular versions of the tokens. All right, so that's my overview. Hopefully you got something out of it. Shade Protocol, like I said, channel sponsor. Excited to play around on this platform every time they add a new feature. Let me know how you do. Let me know if I missed anything. And hopefully, It's not too much trouble to learn all these derivatives so you can take advantage of the APRs, the DeFi farming opportunities on the platform. See you later.